Have you ever noticed how, even when everything seems fine, your mind starts to create worst-case scenarios out of nowhere? It's like the worst is always lurking, just waiting for the right moment to happen. You're not alone. Imagine someone who finally lands their dream job, only to spend the very first night losing sleep, worried they'll be fired any second. Have you ever felt like that? Drop a comment below, because today we're going to reveal why your brain acts this way and how to break free from this cycle. Scientists have found that since the dawn of humanity, our brains have been programmed to pay more attention to danger than to pleasure. It was a matter of survival. Those who stayed alert to the slightest sign of threat were more likely to survive and protect their family. But while this fear once saved lives, today it might be stealing your peace. Are you curious to know if it's possible to change this instinct? Stick around till the end to find out what you can do to shift your mindset. Picture our ancestors living in the wild, jumping at every sound of rustling leaves. It could have been a predator. Their brains developed an alarm system. Anything out of the ordinary was seen as a threat. Now think about how many times, just today, your brain has sounded that same alarm over little things. It's almost like we're living in an invisible jungle where most of the dangers exist only inside our heads. Did you know your brain values a problem more than a victory? That is called the negativity bias, a mental trick that makes your mind weigh negative experiences much heavier than positive ones. Remember that one criticism you got that echoed in your mind for days, while 1,000 compliments faded away in seconds? That's not weakness, it's brain programming. Have you felt that affect yourself? Think about how many times a bad piece of news has replayed over and over in your head. Now try to remember a good piece of news from that same time way harder, right? That's because our brains record negative events as a self-protection strategy. Bad news is like an internal alarm, which is why it sticks so much. Have you noticed how much time you waste replaying bad situations? We're surrounded by messages telling us there's always something missing: money, time, recognition. That is the scarcity mindset, a mental filter that makes you focus on what you don't have, instead of appreciating what you've already achieved. It's as if your brain uses a magnifying glass to make problems bigger and solutions smaller. How many opportunities have you let slip by just out of fear of losing? Anxiety is like a broken smoke detector. It goes off for any little thing, even when there's no real danger. An anxious mind is always searching for the next problem, as if staying on high alert could keep you safe. Have you ever found yourself creating problems that don't exist, just to feel more prepared? Let me know in the comments if your anxiety makes you see threats where there are none. A lot of our negative thoughts have deep roots. Just remember how many times in childhood you were warned to be careful, don't trust anyone, or don't make mistakes. These phrases get recorded as silent commands, and as adults, we repeat the cycle, always expecting the worst. What childhood memories still feed your fears today? When your body releases stress hormones like cortisol, it's like a storm building in your mind. These hormones cloud your judgment and amplify negative thoughts. You know that feeling that everything is about to go wrong when you're under pressure? It's not just psychological, it's biological. Have you ever felt your whole body react to a bad thought? We live surrounded by catastrophic predictions. Just turn on the TV, open social media, or chat with negative people. The environment feeds fear, multiplying your worries. It's like your mind is a sponge, soaking up everything negative around you. Do you notice how people and places around you affect the way you think? Tell me, what makes you expect the worst in your daily life? Have you ever noticed how negative predictions have an almost hypnotic power over us? News about a crisis, a looming tragedy, or just a simple, what if something goes wrong, always grabs more attention than any good news. The human brain is drawn to catastrophic scenarios because in the past that boosted our chances of survival. But today, that same attraction just ends up feeding our biggest fears, Do you also find it hard to ignore bad news? When your brain is always expecting the worst, you start creating invisible traps for yourself. It's the self-sabotage cycle. Fear of failure paralyzes you. Insecurity grows, and you end up attracting exactly what you fear most. How many times have you sabotaged yourself without even realizing, just because you didn't trust the future? Pay attention. Recognizing this cycle is the first step to breaking out of it. Social media amplifies negativity. One scroll and you're hit with alarming news, toxic comparisons, and endless doom scrolling. What was meant to connect us often ends up pushing us further apart. With every new fear trend, your brain is reminded the world is dangerous and things will never get better. How do you deal with this daily storm? Have you ever thought about doing a digital detox? Even knowing that negative thinking only brings more suffering, changing that pattern isn't easy. The brain prefers to repeat familiar patterns, even if they hurt, because change takes energy and effort. Fear of the unknown, together with our comfort zone, keeps negativity active. Have you ever tried to break a habit and felt like you were fighting an invisible force? You know, those little problems that grow in your head until they feel impossible to solve? The brain has a way of blowing worries out of proportion, turning them into invisible monsters. A silly comment turns into an unforgivable offense. A late bill becomes the end of the world. Have you ever watched a small worry spiral into a full-blown mental nightmare? Anything the brain doesn't understand gets painted with the colors of fear. That's why the mind creates negative scenarios to fill the gap of uncertainty. The unknown is scary because you can't predict or control it. How many times have you given up on something just because you were afraid of what might happen? Negative thoughts rarely come alone. They multiply, creating a domino effect in your mind. One fear leads to another. A single doubt triggers the next insecurity. Before you know it, your mind is caught in a storm of worries. Have you ever noticed how one thought can unleash a whole avalanche of negative emotions? Here's the good news. Neuroscience has already proven that it's possible to reprogram your mind. New habits, new experiences, and gratitude practices can build positive connections in your brain, replacing the old negative pattern. The process isn't magic, but it's real and accessible. Have you tried any technique to transform your way of thinking? Share your experience. There are simple strategies you can use every day to weaken the power of negative thoughts. Conscious breathing, journaling, guided meditation, or even just taking a walk outside. The important thing is to start small and stick with it. Why not pick one of these tools and give it a try today? Then come back and tell us how it went. It is time to turn things around. Understanding how your brain works is the first step to taking back control and planting the seed of optimism. It's not about ignoring the negative, but about refocusing your mind and making space for positive possibilities. Remember, your mind can be trained to expect the best. What will you do differently from today on? Now, let me give you a few practical tips you can start using today to transform your relationship with your mind. First, when you notice a negative thought, don't fight it. Just observe, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, this is just a thought, not a life sentence. Acknowledge it, accept it, and let it float by like a cloud in the sky. Second, try to write down at least one good thing about your day, no matter how small. Recording a tiny win, a smile you received, or a moment of relief can teach your mind to see the positive, even on tough days. Every morning when you wake up, be grateful for everything you have, no matter how simple or humble. You worked for it, you earned it, so be thankful. That's how God, the universe, or the Creator can send you more and more. Third, surround yourself with people, content, and environments that bring peace, not just more worry. Your mind absorbs everything around you. Choose wisely what you consume. Stop watching politics, bad news, or TV journalism. That stuff drains your energy, and all they want is to keep you feeling low. If this video helped you in any way, leave a like, subscribe to the Silent Wounds channel, and share it with that friend who's also battling negative thoughts. Maybe this message is exactly what they need right now to find a little hope. Drop a comment below. Which of these strategies are you going to try first? Or share your story sometimes. One comment can be the relief or inspiration someone else needs. And to help you take the next step, I am leaving the video Mental Fortress, How to Transform Anxiety and Pain into Real Strength here in the description and in the card above. Watch it to discover how to turn anxiety and pain into real strength and slowly build a safe mental refuge for yourself. Thank you for walking this path with me. I'm Elena Gray, and I'll see you in the next video.